Well, hello. I was just getting breakfast and stuff ready. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hee hee. Tee hee. It's been a while since I've done a solo stream, and this is my 2022 wrap-up stream, so it's been a bit. Yeah, we had the peaceful Mario music that transitioned into the fucking Fury soundtrack. I'll have to see if I can organize Fubar a bit more. There's a couple things I want to do in relation to the stream. I mean, look at this starting soon screen. It's from 2 summers ago when I was doing the Summer of Pandemonium thing. So it's from a while ago. So obviously I want to change it. It's also kind of like amateurish. Just kind of pictures moving on the background. But that's the least of my worries. Welcome to the 2022 wrap-up stream. I usually do a webcam for these. I'm not doing it today because of that. I don't even solo stream anymore, so, you know, who cares? But without further ado, let's just kind of get into the meat and potatoes. So, I thought I had this up already. There you go. Flashbang out. So, no, can we get a more peaceful song? Listen, I love the Fury soundtrack as much as the next guy. Hilarious. Can you get a song that lasts more than 10 seconds? Sure. So, first things first, let's get it out of the way. If I get it out of the way, I mean, this is going to be the majority of the time we're probably going to be talking about it. Game of the Years, in no specific order. In no specific, they're not ranked by anything or any of that, except for the one at the top. Elden Ring is obviously numero uno. Elden Ring is a fucking fantastic game. Had so much fun with it this year. The only thing I'm worried about is I've tried to do replay throughs and they're not as fun. And that's the issue for me because I've played through the Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 so fucking much. Played through Bloodborne a lot. Never played Demon Souls. Got to get on that one of these days. But Elden Ring isn't as fun to replay, I guess, as I should say. The replayability of the game isn't as fun because a lot of that first time was like that. The first time playing through was like exploration of these like the mini dungeons that reminded me like the Chalice dungeons from Bloodborne, and it's like a lot of that is exploring those mini parts of the game, and on replay through you're like, well, I don't want to do that again because it's kind of boring. You know, it's not like it's not crafted and designed in a specific way, but when I play through the game, all I want to do is the legacy dungeons, quote unquote, is what they call them, which are like the big set pieces. Like the first castle you go to and all that stuff, because those are fun and those are designed in a specific way. And if anything Elden Ring has taught me, it's that I would much appreciate a tightly designed linear game with a few branching paths than an open world game. And it for me, it put the nail in the coffin, the final little nail in the coffin, where it's like, okay, so I definitely appreciate more linear based games that are designed well than an open world game, even if it's designed better than linear based games. You know what I mean? So I know they're going to do an Elden Ring sequel, so I have to bite my tongue. Same thing with Breath of the Wild. The Breath of the Wild sequel looks to be exactly the same, so I'm biting my tongue. Both of those, it goes back to Breath of the Wild as well, where it's like, I like a lot of the stuff that they did with the game. I had a really fun time with the game. Okay, screw you too. I need to take out those as well. But, now we're getting the Axiom Bridge soundtrack. But, lost my train of thought there for a second. I'm trying to get it back. I'm trying to recatch the train. So same thing with Breath of the Wild, where it was. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I love the Zelda games. And Breath of the Wild was an awesome game in the series. It was a lot of fun first time through. Playing it through a second time, the luster kind of wore off a bit. And there are a few things that I have major issues with like the dungeons and stuff like that, where it's like they need to fix that before the next game comes out. If Breath of the Wild 2 is still open world, but it has at least 4 quality dungeons that aren't just like copy pasted kind of crap, one with one gimmick in them, I prefer 8, but you know, as long as it has a few dungeons that are actually good, then I'll be sated, I should say. and also the other thing is some actual fucking item upgrades and stuff like that. Breath of the Wild only had the 4. You could like upgrade like your armor and like get new weapons and stuff, but it's like I want, you know, the classic Zelda item upgrades, the hook shot, the boomerang, you know, that kind of thing. Which of course you had boomerangs, but that's not what I mean. You know what I mean. And I'm also surprised they didn't have like a hook shot ranged item in the game, didn't they? Because they didn't have one, which is kind of weird. It would be cool, is all I'm saying. So yeah, no, I'd really appreciate them having tools that you can grow on like a traditional Zelda game. And I understand it's, you know, not that kind of thing, but that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across. And that point transitions back to Elden Ring, which is the same thing. I know they're going to make a sequel because they pretty much said this thing printed fucking money. They said, we're going to make a sequel. We have plans in the work for a sequel. So I know they're going to make a sequel. I hope there's more Legacy Dungeon content in Elden Ring. That you can just play through that instead of having to play through all the side stuff. You don't have to do the side stuff in order for your character to be strong on a replay, essentially. Because that's kind of what's holding me back from replaying Elden Ring, and I've done it. I've replayed Elden Ring, but it's like it's not as fun. So, yeah, that's my kind of. I've realized because of those 2 games that even really finely crafted open world games, I'd much prefer a traditional, more linear game. You know, it's like it's not. Those aren't the only open world games that I can't go back and play. You know, like I can't go back and play The Witcher 3, which is like an amazing game. But it's like I just want to go through the main story content and like the main stuff and like a couple of side quests. And it's like, it just feels like retreading old ground in an open world game is a lot harder for me than retreading ground in a linear game, is how I should put it. So yeah, I spent a lot of time talking about Elden Ring, and I spent a lot of time saying kind of negative thoughts, but couldn't be far off from the truth. Elden Ring was fantastic. I mean, I love the game. Almost everything about the game was like perfect. I mean, it was a fantastic game. And I didn't know if they could do it. I honestly didn't know if they could. I remember before Elden Ring came out being a little skeptical, like open world, you know, FromSoft game, like their experiences are so crafted that they came out with it and it's really well, and it still feels crafted in a lot of the legacy dungeon areas. So it's like they definitely put in the work, and I appreciate it. Speaking of not putting in the work, moving on to our next thing on the list. Yet again, everything else is unsorted, but it's stuff that I enjoyed playing this year that came out this year. I believe most of them came out this year. One of the 2 of them might have not, but stuff that came out this year that I enjoyed playing. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out this year, to many people not having a good time with them. A lot of glitches, a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And my machine, I also had a lot of issues and crashes and stuff. But at the end of the day, the game itself, without the glitches and the crashes and the stuff, was a fun game. And it was probably the most fun I've had with Pokemon in a while, since the first Pokemon game I played, which is saying something. Because usually people tend to prefer the first Pokemon game they've ever played. Mine was Emerald, and yes, I do. And so when I have this much fun with the Pokemon game, it's a little bit surprising because I changed up the formula enough where it's funnily enough, this Pokemon game is open world, but I enjoyed it more than the linear-based Pokemon games. And I think the difference is it's a Pokemon game, and I don't plan on ever replaying it besides, like, I guess running through the linear parts. So I guess it still has that issue, but I'm probably never going to replay it anyway, so oh well. Maybe in the far future when I play, like, a Sword and Shield randomizer, but, like, if that ever happens, because that's the only time I replay the games, so. Hold on. There is a bot in the chat. I forget how to... Just do that, right? Yeah. It's been so long that we are going to time that person out. Probably should have banned them. We'll see. But now that's the most chat activity I've gotten in the stream in months and years, actually. Pokemon Scarlet Violet was a lot of I had a lot of fun with it. You know, open world stuff, open world issues that I'm sure I'd have issues with if I replayed it. Don't ever plan on replaying it, so that's not an issue for this game. At the end of the day, all I'm going to be using this game is for raids with friends, if I do that, and shiny hunting, if I do that. So it's like, at the end of the day, I had a good time with the game, through all its glitches and its problems. You can still appreciate a game even though it's glitchy and has issues and stuff. You know what I mean? Which I saw a lot of people online were not, and fair enough. But a lot of people were like, when a glitch was like funny and like someone showing a funny glitch video on Twitter or something that I would laugh at, people would be like, "This is unacceptable. You can't do that. You can't have this in a game. Like, how could you do this?" And I'm like, "What the, bro? It's just like a dude hump in the air. Like, what are you freaking out about?" Like, crash glitches, I can understand being mad about, and I had a couple of crash glitches. It's like, I can understand it, especially if you lose progress because you turned off autosave. Like, fair enough, because Pokemon games in the past have had an issue with autosave, so I can understand turning them off, but, like, those glitches I can understand being mad at, but, like, going on to Twitter and seeing some dude, like, humping the air and being like, "This is unacceptable, how could they release it in the States?" Like, come on. So anyway, I had a good time with it. Oh, one other thing. The first time in a Pokemon game that the storyline was actually fun. Wow, my food got here really fast. Yes, I did order food for breakfast today. It's 2 minutes away. Wow. I thought it was going to, like, I ordered it right as the stream started because I was like, it's going to take the whole stream for me to go through this. It's going to take like an hour. It's like taking 15 fucking minutes. Jesus. So we might get a little bit of mukbang here. But the other thing I wanted to mention, first time in a Pokemon game in a while that the story has actually been interesting. The story's actually been fun. like the side, like with Arvin and stuff, was an interesting story, and like some other stories and stuff. So first time in a while that the story was actually interesting and engaging. So there's that. Moving on. Marvel's Midnight Suns. I have not beat this game. Fair warning, I'm only 25 hours in, which does not feel like a lot. But this is, the way I was thinking of it in my head, it's Fire Emblem, cross XCOM, cross Slay the Spire with a Marvel coat of paint. That's how I'll describe it. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a really good time with it. The writing is a little sketchy in some places. Yeah, the writing is, especially when it comes to like Iron Man. Like, so there's a friendship system, of course, because like I said, it's like, you know, those kind of games, and there's a friendship system, but like where when you're out of missions, you can team up with people and be friends, and it's like friends with the heroes, and like some heroes I don't know because I'm not really a big huge Marvel fan, but like some I do, like the Avengers and stuff like that. And every Iron Man line is just, whoever wrote Iron Man got it accurate to like the boomer who makes some of the worst jokes of all time. Like I just can't bring myself to be friends with Iron Man because it's just like I don't want to listen to what they wrote. And it's not that the character voice acting's bad. Like all the voice actors for the game are all like the not like the MCU people, but like the people that do like the actual voice work for like the other games and like shows and stuff like that. Like it's the people who do the voice works for those characters. So it's like all these voices are done really well. But yeah, some of the writing's pretty cringe. Other than that, though, I hate using the word cringe, but it's true. Other than that, though, the game is really fun. Like the missions themselves, it's one of the few games. My telltale when I know I'm enjoying a game is when I turn up the difficulty, because that doesn't usually happen. You know, Kingdom Hearts being a prime example. Kingdom Hearts 2. Every time I went back to play it, I started turning up the difficulty. And throughout my life, I found that whenever I enjoy a game a lot, I just kind of turn up the difficulty. And I kind of found myself, because the way you unlock difficulty in this game is you have to play a bit, and then after you've done good enough on a couple missions, it will unlock the next tier of difficulty, and it'll be like, do you want to turn it up? And I'm like, every time I'm like, yes, turn it up, turn it up. So I think I like the second to hardest difficulty now. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying my time with it. Which I didn't expect from a Marvel game, but I saw a streamer playing it, and I was like, this looks actually a lot of fun, and I started playing it myself. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm still playing it right now, and I'm having a good time with it. And we'll get into more about what I'm playing this year and stuff later. So a nice little transition for later. But before I continue, I gotta pick up my food. It's at the door. Oh, since it came really fast. Hold on, my food did not appear to be there. Let me look somewhere else. Hmm. So, story time about what just happened to me. They said they left the food at the front door. I went to check. It was not there. Sometimes the delivery drivers leave it at the back behind the garage. So I was like, well, I wait to get my shoes. So I guess I'll go walk out to the garage, see if it's there. I open the back door, and it's right at the back door. Now, to specify, my back door is blocked off. It's blocked off by 2 gates and a garage. So I have no idea how the hell they got that food back there. A little strange. Yeah, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. That's a little peculiar. Let me dB down my voice a little bit, just because I can see it's peaking a lot. So yeah, that was a little strange. So, sorry, I'm just testing to see if it's peaking still. Hopefully that's better. Let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, I don't know. Hopefully that's better. It looks better on the thing, at least. Even though I didn't do that much, but... So it'll be a bit of a mukbang here, but I'll try not to be too loud with it. I'll try to mute myself if needed. So... Next, moving on. Forgive me, Father. Boomer shooter alert. Boomer shooter alert. Fun little boomer shooter with 2D enemies. Had a good time with it. It was about eldritch stuff, eldritch abominations. I had a good time with it. It was fun, and that's really all I gotta say. It wasn't like the best boomer shooter of all time. It wasn't the worst boomer shooter of all time. It was just a fun game. I enjoyed it. I was like, I need to play a boomer shooter today, and I was like, what do I have in my Steam library that I got recently? It was this game. Oh, no, I think I bought this actually, like for a couple bucks because it was on sale. Yeah, it was good. Either that or it was like on Humble Bundle or something. I got it. Anyway, it was good. Good little boomer shooter. Pentiment. Pentiment was a surprise for me. I looked at the game. I really liked the art style, where it was like a medieval like book kind of style, which I don't think I've seen a lot of games do, or any games do. And that was it. Like the whole game looked like that, and it looked really nice, and like characters from different places. Like there's a character from Africa, and he like has a completely different art style because they're using the art style from the medieval art from Africa instead of the medieval art from Europe because he's from Africa. So it's like, oh, it's kind of interesting, and like there's a lot of interesting stuff in the game. And the surprise for me was I bought the game. I thought it was interesting. I booted it up, and it was an Obsidian game. It's an Obsidian written game, and I was like, oh, I can tell I'm in for something good because it was a murder mystery, like in a church, during the time, like a very specific historical period where the church was, but where the power in like the people's minds was transitioning away from the church. So a very specific time in like a murder mystery in the church. So I was like, oh, I'm very interested in this, and it delivered. Fantastic game. Obsidian, if they do nothing else right, they do the writing right. Obsidian knows how to write a lot of stuff and do it well. Which is a blessing and a curse when you have stuff like Tyranny that will never get sequels or stuff like that because they just don't have the resources. I guess now they're owned by Microsoft, so who knows. But, or like stuff like Fallout New Vegas, where it's like, I'd love to see another Fallout New Vegas, developed by them and not like Outer Worlds where it's like, or Outer Wilds, sorry. Or no, Outer Wilds is a good one. Outer Worlds is the I was right. Yeah, no, like Outer Worlds, fuck me. Outer Worlds was okay, but it was like you needed that I don't know, you needed that like grounding from that New Vegas had, where it was like it felt like a real world. And so Pentiment feels very real world. despite being designed to look like the like paintings of the time. It feels very grounded in that real world, and it's done exceptionally well. Of course, it's a lot shorter, and it's not like an open world shooter. So yeah, and that's really Pentiment. Really good story murder mystery game. I recommend it highly. Yeah, Obsidian knows how to do character writing really well. Sometimes not the whole overarching writing, like when I'm talking about Outer Worlds, but I think they did it well in this game. So yeah. Little small town murder mystery in a church during this very specific time period where the church was fading from power. So yeah, that's it. The Case of the Golden Idol. So I saw this recommended. I forget where, but it was recommended in relation to Curse of the Obra Dinn. Curse of the Obra Dinn, if you don't know, is I saw someone describe earlier this year. I think it was on Reddit or something, but it was it was that the best game where you are a detective is like either LA Noire or Disco Elysium. Those are the best games where you are a detective. The best games where you do detecting, or the best game where you do detecting, is Curse of the Obra Dinn, and I agree. Curse of the Obra Dinn is fucking fantastic. It's by Lucas Pope, the guy who did Papers, Please. A fucking great game designer. I'm waiting with bated breath to see what he releases next, but this isn't about him. This is about Case of the Golden Idol, which was compared to Obra Dinn. So I was like, game that's compared to Obra Dinn. The reason why it's compared is because you fill in the blanks similar to Obra Dinn. You have to like actually use deductive reasoning to figure out why stuff happened. Case of the Golden Idol, very, very good. I have now changed my Steam icon to a GIF from this game. So, I really enjoyed this game. Would I say it stacks up to Obra Dinn? In some cases, yeah, but I'd still say Obra Dinn is my favorite game that you do detecting in. But Case of the Golden Idol is still really, really good, and like the whole me figuring out things in the story and how they piece together, and then the end where it was like, okay, let's show you how everything pieces together, and me being right about most of it felt really good, because at the end they show like an epilogue where it's like, here's, we're filling in the blanks for you if you didn't figure some stuff out. And it was like, okay, so there's this thing I didn't know, this thing about it, this thing I figured out, and this thing I figured out, and it was like, okay, so it feels really good when you do that with a game, because there's no when you play a normal game, most games aren't like figure stuff out for yourself. It's like, okay, here's the optimal way to do this thing, and this, if you look up like a guide or something, here's the optimal way to do this. If you look up, like, for instance, like a Zelda game, like I've been playing Wind Waker recently for a reason that I'll explain later. You can just look up like, how do I get this heart piece? That's not the same kind of thing that you can look up in games like this. Like, you can't just be like, who caused this event to happen? You have to figure it out for yourself, and it's really fun when you can figure that out for yourself, and then you're later validated, or even if you're later proven wrong. It's a very good, very fun game. Moving on, this is kind of like going back in time through the year. So like Marvel Midnight Suns, I've been playing into this new year, and like as we go back, Forgive Me Father was before that, Pentiment was before that, Case of the Golden Idol. So as we're moving back, we're going back in the year, and you can see that I played a lot of story-based games in this kind of midsection, which is why I needed like Forgive Me Father. I was like, please, I need a boomer shooter to just play to take my mind off stuff. But as we're moving back, you can see I played a lot of story-based games in this kind of interim, and these weren't the only ones. Like I played some old ones, but moving on to the last story-based game that I played in this kind of interim was Road Warden. Fucking fantastic game. So Road Warden is a story-based game where you are the new road warden for an area, for like this kind of part of a continent, basically. And what that means is you watch the roads, keep threats off the roads, and keep them safe for travelers or traders and that kind of thing. You're the road warden. So when you get there, you're assigned a mission from the capital, which is like that you're assigned from, to basically figure out how viable this land is for production and that kind of thing, like that kind of thing, and how what you can use in this land and like what resources there are. Similarly, they also want you to find out what happened to the last Road Warden, because nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened to him. And that's the setup. And this is a completely unique world. I mean, there's obviously stuff from other worlds, but this is a relatively unique world where a lot of the enemies are like their own thing, and when you encounter them, you know, you can click on a thing to describe them and like explain what they are. And it's such I got lost in this world for so long. Road Warden is fucking fantastic. If you can check it out, if you liked what I've been describing, it's a great game. You know, you can change the way your character is to kind of like interact with characters differently, and you can, you know, it's a fantastic game. I really, really was a big fan of this. I got sucked into it for hours on end, like right before my finals. So I was in love with this game for a little bit, and I highly, highly recommend Road Warden. It would probably be my number 2 if I like rated them. It'd probably clock in number 2 under Elden Ring. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Big fan of it, and I'm looking forward to whatever the devs come up with next. I think I know. Ooh. Oh, you don't see that anyway. Let's see. I think I looked up the devs before, but I don't think they have anything else. Could be wrong. Ooh. Oh, Steam. Yeah, also has great music. I forgot to mention that was some of the little sampling there for a second. But I don't know if they have. Okay, shut up. I don't know if they have anything else. Let me look it up. I looked at the name before, but I don't think I found anything. So the name is Moral Anxiety Studio. So some of y'all can relate to that. And they did have some other games, but Road Warden's like the first big one. Oops, did not mean to add that to that. Oops. Sure, that showed up for a second. Yeah, Road Warden's their first big one. They have another called Tales from Windy Meadow, which I think I might check out. But of course, Road Warden has pixel art and stuff like that. And then they have some other projects before that, apparently, called The Tavern. So yeah, they just have, which is an RPG Maker game. So they don't have a lot. This is kind of their first bigger one, I think, and like it's this kind of unique original thing, and I'm a big fan of it, and I want to see more from them. I'll probably check out their previous game, Tales from Windy Meadow. Maybe I'll check out their RPG Maker game. I played a lot of RPG Maker trash in my day, so I'm used to it at this point. But yeah, Road Warden is just fantastic. It's a visual novel with some action. Check it out if you have the time, if it seems interesting to you. Road Warden. Pixel art. Really beautiful pixel art, might add. And really good music, like really atmospheric music. And just a really interesting world that can kind of suck you in. It did for me, at least. Also, I love this track from King's Ambler. I love this fucking track. Hit it. Let me take a bite for a second. I ordered Dunkin' Donuts. Very good. Very good breakfast options at Dunkin'. I mean, of course, America runs on it, so I guarantee most of you do. I got like this big plate of food in front of me, and I'm like, I'm talking a bunch. I don't want to turn this into a nasty mukbang roll on. Alright, So, okay. Had a little snack there. Moving on. Next on the list, Coral Island. So I am a big fan of what this has shown so far. I really like. This is another small town farming game, but the difference with Coral Island is there is an environmental message kind of here, and there is also it takes place in a coastal town, and there is a like ocean delving thing. I don't know how to describe it other than like there's an ocean cleaning like portion of the game where you go down to the ocean and you clean up like because the story of the game is a couple of years ago they had like an oil spill, stuff like that, and it caused like a bunch of environmental crap to happen. So you're trying to clean up the environment in the ocean in this coastal town, which is really interesting. It's this really cool like unique little thing they added. So far I like a lot of the characters. It's still in early access, so it isn't fully released yet. So that's what I'd say is just keep your eye on it if you're interested in it. The artwork is really nice for the characters. It's really well done. It's a unique art style. Kind of reminded me of like Lilo and Stitch kind of looking characters. And it's a very well done art style. And so far the game is a lot of fun. I'm excited to see the game when they fully release because obviously there's a bit of jank tied around to the game not being fully released. So I'm excited to play the game when it fully releases. So keep your eye on it. I think it's good. There's another game that'll get to later as well that I've also been keeping my eye on that I have now thanks to Humble. That I'll probably check out this year sometime. It's just Hoko Life. So we'll get to that when we get that. But yeah, Coral Island, great game. So far, we'll see how it develops. Dome Keeper. Oh, my beloved. So there was something I want to mention before I get too far into Dome Keeper. On Steam, there was in the awards there was a category that was like most innovative gameplay award, and this category was fucking stacked. So this category, let me see if I can find it real quick because they announced the winners, and we'll get to that in a second. Most innovative gameplay. They had Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, which okay, I can understand why it's there. I wouldn't really call it innovative gameplay. I mean, just play Warband. But they had Tear Down, great game where you like destroy stuff. Really cool game, with like interactive environment and like destroying. I think like it's a 3D environment that's made up entirely by like physics pixels. So it's really, if you haven't seen Tear Down before, it's really cool. Neon White, which I've never played, but I've seen a lot of stuff from it. It's like a platformer card game, and it looks really fun, and it looks really cool. I might have to check it out one of these days, but I just kept my eye off of it. I've just seen a little bit of it. And then Dome Keeper, which is, we'll get into why I think Dome Keeper is great, and it has a really unique playstyle, and it's really fun. And then the final game they had in there was Stray. Of course, Stray won because it's a funny cat game. Stray is just a walking simulator with a cat. And it shouldn't have won, but it's a funny cat game. So I don't hate Stray, but I'm kind of I feel like a lot of games were snuffed by Stray's popularity this year because it's just a game about a cat walking and pressing buttons occasionally. It's really not that interesting of a game, and a lot of people are. I got some like blowback from my friends because I was lighting this game up at the Game Awards because there's a lot of stuff, and they're like, I don't know, it's a lot of people liking it. A lot of people like it because it's a funny meme about a cat. That's it. Like, it's not a good game. It's not a bad game. Okay, it's not like an awful game, but it's also just a walking simulator with a cat. You know, there's no innovative gameplay. You just put a cat into a walking simulator. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm a boomer and I'm getting out of touch, but to me it did not. Watching the game put me to sleep, I should say. So, which doesn't happen a lot. Oh, okay. And announce you're here. Why don't you, Kingdoms of Amalur? What a great soundtrack. Oh, what a great game, Kingdoms of Amalur, that is. me getting any chance to talk about Kinezoya more. But yeah, that's my thought on the Steam Awards. Is they're kind of just I guess it's a little thought. Hitman 3 won the VR thing, even though the VR in Hitman 3 is a joke, but people just know Hitman 3. And I mean, Hitman 3 is a great game that I have still yet to play. But I'm waiting now because they just announced that they're doing like World of Assassination and combining all the stuff without it being incredibly fucking confusing. So that should be fun. But anyway, we'll get back on track. Dome Keeper. Fantastic game where you have a dome. Okay? Let me say, you have a dome. Okay? It's a roguelike where you have a dome. You try to protect your dome for enough waves so you can get the artifact. Or if you're playing a prestige mode, that you can get as many points as you can before dying. And you try to basically survive in this dome. And in between each wave of enemies, there's like a downtime. And in that downtime, what you do is you go down into the mines and you fucking start digging like Minecraft. And you try to find resources down there. And you upgrade how fast you can dig and stuff, and then you come back up and you fight with a laser or a sword or stuff. It's hard to explain the fun of this game without you seeing it yourself. So like, go watch a trailer or something for it, or go watch somebody play it. Dome Keeper is a lot of fun. Dome Keeper I had a good time with it this year. I'm excited to see, because it's still in development, so I'm excited to see more that they release on it. Cult of the Lamb. I had a fun time with Cult of the Lamb. It's a game where I got to stretch my love of kind of character fighters and ARPGs and stuff a little bit, but not an entirely tight system on the fighting, but it was fun enough. The home system was very abusable, like the cult system itself was very abusable to help you out. By the end of the game, I had already had it stacked for like days and days. So, yeah. But I still enjoyed my time with the game, even if the core gameplay was a little not as tight as I would prefer it to be, but it was still fun. There's also some glitches because I played it right on release. I 100% of the game, which obviously is telling that I liked it, but 100% of the game, and I had to wait like a couple of days because they had glitches that made it so I couldn't get some of the achievements, so I had to wait a couple of days and then come back to the game. So it was a bit of a mess on release, but I'm assuming it's really good now. They pounded out a lot of those glitches. I had fun time with it even with those glitches. So yeah, Multiverses. This is kind of a failing of my system where I only have Game of the Years and Fall Flats, and if it falls in between, I have to put it in one of those, or I have to put it in like my other, like honorable mention, the other category that I have later. Multiverses I had a lot of fun with. I'm not very good with fighting games, and that's to say that I don't put enough time into them to be able to enjoy them at the same level as a lot of my friends, which is unfortunate. And the same thing with Multiverses. I enjoyed my time with it early. I was like top 2,000 Iron Giants or whatever. I really enjoyed my time playing the game, but I just didn't want to put in the time, and now I've fallen out of it, and it's the thing. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it. It's definitely better than a lot of other platform fighters that have released in the past few years that have tried to be platform fighters, Nickelodeon, that kind of stuff, where it's like, at first you really enjoy them, and then it's like 2 seconds later you're like, okay, this game's actually kind of trash. Multiverses was still fun throughout. I still played it for a while, but I've fallen out of it for a bit. So I had a good time, but yeah. Wobble Dogs, fun little dog breeding simulator. Do the horrible things that people have done in real life to dogs, but they're virtual this time, so it doesn't matter. I had a lot of fun with it. I streamed it at one point. I don't know if I'm going to upload that because the audio on that stream is atrocious. I've been looking through old streams and uploading them to my YouTube. The audio on that stream is atrocious. Oh, excuse me, Fury. Like the audio is really bad, and it's one of those like Paul and Corey Talks episodes where we talk about stuff that we like as well, so I'm like a little sad that the audio is so fucking awful. I don't know what happened with it, because like the 2 streams around it, the audio is fine, so I don't know, like for that stream specifically, the audio was just dog shit. So I don't know if that's going to be uploaded, but I had a fun time with Wobble Dogs. I didn't play a lot of it, but the stuff that I did play, I feel like I experienced most of it, unless there's like a hidden stuff that you can get to afterwards. And then finally, Kiwi was a game that I played with my good friend Kyle. Kiwi was a fun game. I enjoyed playing it. It was you play little Kiwis that are doing a mail system. That they were in a little mail system, so it was fun. Had a good time with it. Moving on to the Fell Flat. There's only 2 games in here this year. One of them I almost forgot about, but I was like, oh yeah, let's include that just so Overwatch 2 isn't there by itself. So Overwatch 2. Here's the thing about Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1. The core gameplay is still a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable to play. The issue is Blizzard can't help but fuck themselves in their ass at every opportunity when it comes to their games. Why release Overwatch 2? Why not just make it a patch to Overwatch 1? Well, the reason why is because we wanted to make money. Why have all these scummy design decisions? Because we wanted to make money. Why have a horrible like balancing schedule and also don't even balance the characters right? Is that because you want to make money, or like I don't even understand that one. The balancing schedule is awful, and the balancing themselves are awful because Blizzard is never known to balance well. I've never known Blizzard to balance a game well. In all my years of playing games, I've never known Blizzard to balance a game well. And this is still true with Overwatch 2. So, I played Roadhog a lot. He's fucking ridiculously overpowered in this game, so I had fun with that. A lot of the tanks, they just overpowered them because they made it so you could only have 5 characters instead of 6, and the one role that only has 1 now is tanks, so they kind of overpowered them a bit to fill that slot. So I had a lot of fun on the tank role, is all I can say. But yeah, Overwatch 2, while the core gameplay is fun, it's something you can't excuse with the scummy game design and stuff like that. Anacrusis is still in early access, so who knows, this game could pick up, but it seemed like nobody was playing it, so I don't know if that's going to happen or if they're just going to cancel the game. It's a Left 4 Dead style kind of thing, but with a kind of like 60s, 50s space theme, if that makes sense. Like a 60s, 50s theme of America, but with like space as well, and like futuristic technology. Kind of like Fallout almost, but if it was not nuked. The game was not that fun, and it needs a lot of work. But if it gets that work, it's still in early access. Like I said, if it gets that work and it gets released and people enjoy it, then it will be good. I can see the kernels of a good game there, but for now, it's kind of garbage. And I almost forgot to put it even on this list. I wasn't even thinking about it, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did play that this year. And it's kind of, I feel like Left 4 Dead style games are kind of waning, where they're not as good anymore. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. The Left 4 Dead style games are waning in the populace. People aren't enjoying them as much. We said Dark Tide, which released, and apparently the core gameplay was fun, but the practices were scummy, which, you already heard my thoughts of that with Overwatch 2. I just realized you guys probably aren't hearing the music at the same level I am, because I turned down the OBS to make it so that console games, when I play them, because of the way it's wired through, I turn it down so that when I play console games it doesn't blast my fucking ears off. So I probably need to turn that up a bit so you guys can actually hear the music. So hopefully you guys were hearing that music before, but now you can actually, I can see it's actually in the audio. I was like, why is the audio not showing anything? It's because they probably can't fucking hear the music. But luckily you heard my voice. That's all my beautiful voice. So moving on to the need to play category. Scroll down a little bit. Okay. Need to play category. Dwarf Fortress. I mentioned it before on one of my previous streams, but I want to stream this maybe. I also just want to play this. I want to learn it. I am a huge fan of RimWorld. I love it a lot. Dwarf Fortress is like proto RimWorld, with a lot of cool stuff as well, and a lot of crazy stuff, so I want to learn it. I want to have fun with it. It's finally released on Steam now with a visual kind of overhaul, so that's why I'm taking an interest in it. Shadows Over Loathing is the next thing. after West of Loathing, which is a game I played on stream and enjoyed a lot, I want to stream this one as well. I'm planning on doing it sooner rather than later, hopefully. And yeah, I feel like I'll have a good time with Shadows Over Loathing. I've heard nothing but good things from it. I've actually heard that it's better than West of Loathing, which is I enjoyed a lot. So we'll see when we get there. Hoko Life. Hoko Life is the game that I mentioned previously when I was talking about Coral Island. I haven't touched it yet, but I now own it. And it's another kind of farming sim, and I'm interested in looking to it. It's a farming sim, but this time it has a kind of what game am I thinking of here? A kind of Animal Crossing vibe to it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It looks like it's still in deep in development, but they're pushing out a lot of updates, and I've been watching it, so looks good. Core Keeper, another early access game. Looks like a lot of fun. A lot of my friends have been playing it. I own it now. Looks like it'll be a lot of fun when I eventually get around to playing it, but for now I've just kind of held back. And also, it's an early access, so maybe I'll wait till it's fully released. We'll see. V Rising, another early access game, but it's from the people who made Battle Right, which I enjoyed a lot. It looks really good, and some of my friends have played it and enjoyed it. I own it, but I still haven't played it yet. I just need to play it, so we'll see. Splatoon 3, I own it yet again. You'll see that theme on this list. I own Splatoon 3, and I need to play it. That's really it. I played a bit of the multiplayer when it came out with some of my friends that were playing, but I want to play the single player. I still haven't done it. I was kind of busy in my semester at the time, so I didn't play a lot of it. Does this song have... Is this song playing anything? Very faint. Very faint compared to other tracks. I mean, Living Mice is a fucking classic, so we're gonna turn it up a bit. God. What a fucking soundtrack, bro. C418. Put out a fucking banger. Alright. Dark Pictures Chronicles 4, I don't even remember the name of it. Manamadan 4. I need to play with Kyle. Me and Kyle need to find the time to stream sometime. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Same with We Were Here Forever. Me and Kyle played the whole series for both of these, and we just need to play them. So that's why they're there. I haven't heard much about either of them, which could be a good or a bad sign. Others and honorable mentions. So we move down here. So we have RuneScape. I don't know if I had this on last year's list. Sorry, I was just letting the music play. Certified banger. What a soundtrack. What a soundtrack. RuneScape, I don't know if I did this on last year's list, but I kind of refound my love for RuneScape through RS3 last year and through OSRS kind of more so this year and a little bit last year as well. OSRS has been a lot of fun. I've told my friend, I've threatened my friends because I want to do something fun in OSRS. I just got 1250 total in my main account levels, and I towards the end of the quests line, hoping to get my quest cape soon eventually. And I told my friends recently, if they don't recommend something fun to do, woo! This is why I'm gonna turn up the fucking volume. Fury just coming in here. But RuneScape, I told my friends if they don't recommend like a fun way to play soon, I'm gonna start up a tile man. Which, if you don't know what a tile man is, it's every tile. You start on the starting tile, you spawn in on Lumbridge, and then every 1,000 XP you get, you unlock another tile in the game. So you have to every 1,000 XP you earn, you get a tile, and you can only walk on those tiles and stuff like that. So yeah, it's funny. I'm thinking of it, but It's a little hardcore, but we'll see. But this will probably be the last year I put RuneScape on this list if I did put it on last year and this year. I just wanted to talk about it again because I'm really enjoying my time with RuneScape again. It's the only MMO where I feel like I can enjoy my time with it because it's the only MMO where it has the unique progression system that it has. If you don't know the progression system in RuneScape, it's like you have skills and you do certain things, usually a lot of grinding to level up those skills and become better at them. And there's a lot of there's 20 something different skills, and they're releasing a new one this year. They just polled in the past that they're going to release a new one in OSRS, and they just announced that they're releasing Necromancy in RS3. So like, I mean, RuneScape's a lot of fun. If you want a game that has similar kind of level up progression, I'd say probably Skyrim, and the Elder Scrolls games have a similar kind of, you do things to level up that system, but it's probably a bit easier in Skyrim because it's a single player game and you want to complete the RPG with a couple of 99s and stuff. So, yeah. But it's similar to that, is what I'd say. So, moving on. That's enough about RuneScape. Listen, that game's been out for fucking eons. Shatterline, another pre-release game. I played it with my friends and had a really fun time, but we haven't played a lot since. I'm excited to see how this game can kind of move on and how it will develop, and hopefully play more with my friends. I didn't put it in the Game of the Year just because I felt like I didn't have enough time with it, and I don't know if the game's going to be that good, but it's a roguelike, 3-people co-op, first-person shooter. Kinda. It's kind of cool. It's kind of hard. That's kind of the gist of it. Mukbang. I'm sorry. Thrive was a game that I had refound this year that I had kind of forgotten about in years past. It's the best way for me to describe Thrive is fans wanting to remake Spore as the game that they imagined it. It's been in development for years, and they're still only on the cell stage, is how I'll put it. Which, depending on your outlook, might be a good or bad thing, but they're still developing it, and it looks that, I mean, if nothing, they'll have a really good cell stage game. But it looks like they're still having a good time developing it, and Thrive is I played the game this year. It's looking like they made a lot of good improvements. I've enjoyed my time with it. So we'll see where it goes. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I just wanted to mention this. Released this year, it had a really fun combat system. I didn't play enough of it to kind of comment on it, but I just wanted to mention it here. That I enjoyed my time with it. That little time that I did have with it, but I didn't want to put it in Game of the Years. That's what this category is for, is if like I didn't have enough time, or I didn't feel like it belonged up there for whatever reason, but I didn't think it fell flat either. Tunic was a game I felt like got snubbed by a lot of different stuff. Tunic's a really unique kind of Zelda-like that I didn't put enough time into. I think I only put like 15 hours into it. But it was a lot of fun. The time that I had with it, it was some of the core combat stuff I wasn't a big fan of, but the game itself was a lot of fun. It was about exploration and kind of discovering stuff about things that about like a language that you don't know understand and stuff like that. And it uses like a old an old book. What are they called? Instruction booklet from like games as like you find different pages of the instruction booklet and it explains part of the world to you. It's kind of cool. Check out Tunic if you're into Zelda and stuff like that. I didn't play enough of it, and I don't think I'm going to go back to it, but I did enjoy my time with it. I would like to go back to it and finish my thoughts off, but I don't know. We'll see, maybe one day. Gotham Knights. I just put this here because, you saw with the Marvel Midnight Suns, I do like a good superhero game. I do like superheroes. I'm not that big into Marvel and DC though, and I like superheroes when used in a story. That's why recently I like The Boys or like Invincible or stuff like that. Like I like superheroes in their own kind of unique worlds used as like a story piece, I guess I could say. I like superheroes as a paint to the story, I guess, as a theme to the story. But I'm not huge into like DC or Marvel. But Gotham Knights I saw was made by the people who made the Arkham City games, which were fucking fantastic. It's what got me into Batman, which is one of the few superheroes that I've actually read the comics for, like mainstream DC or Marvel superheroes that I've actually read the comics for. Got me into Batman. I was a huge fan of it. And this turned out to be a co-op looter shooter with not really good core combat, so I stayed away from it. But I just put it there because I didn't want to put it in Fall Flat because I didn't play it. And I didn't really watch a lot of it and that kind of thing. I just kind of saw it. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. And then I actually saw it. I was like, oh, never mind. Nintendo Switch Sports, I didn't want to put this in Fall Flat, but that would be where it's leaning towards. I bought this game. I had a good enough time with this game. It was also kind of disappointing. That's really all I can say about it. Some of the core gameplay of the game was fun, but the gameplay itself, the game itself was kind of boring. Yeah. Okay. So that's why it's not in Fall Flat, because it didn't really fall flat. It was still fun enough to play, but a little honorable mention there. So, moving on. Stream observations. This is the final little stuff that we do here. We talk about the stream observations, and then we talk about future plans. So, stream observations. Do some solo streams, please. It's been over a year since I've done any solo streams besides these Game of the Year wrap-ups. I just do co-op at this point. It's genuinely, I was clearing out some old folders. The last time I did a solo stream was the Summer of Pandemonium thing that I was talking about earlier in the stream, where I showed off the kind of, where not showed off, but my starting soon stream was still like that from the Summer of Pandemonium. I still haven't updated it since. And same with, I haven't done a solo stream since 2 summers ago. The summer of 2020. Which it fucking sucks. Like, let's put it out there. I could have done some solo streams. And so, I have a plan to do some solo streams this year, which I'll explain in a second. First, though, I want to go over the rest of this. Randomizers. I'll do some more randomizers, which is something that I'll also talk about here in a second some more. I'm enjoying my time with games, but also, like, I really like Zelda randomizers. They're a lot of fun, and I think I could stream them and have a good time, especially when I learn new ones. You know what I mean? More streams with friends as well, of course. Finishing those games with Kyle, playing some games with maybe the whole crew, the whole Word crew. We'll see. And then Paul and Corey talk, which is kind of what I've temporary placeholder named. The streams where me and Corey don't actually play any games, but we just talk about stuff. Enjoy. I've been uploading those as well. Yeah, and so expect more of those. As we scroll on down, future plans. Final hell semester of college. This is the final semester of college where I expect to be full up. Courses loaded 4 or 5 classes with my internship as well. It's the last semester I expect to have all that shit. So, it's not my last semester in general. I'm probably going to do a long tail thing where I do like 2 or 3 classes in the summer and then 1 or 2 classes in the fall and finish off there because I need my final main course, which isn't taught during the summer, so I'm going to have to do it in the fall. So, it's going to be a long tail for me, but hopefully this will be the last hell semester, meaning I'll have a lot more free time after this semester. And also, I would like to make something, which I know is like, duh, but like streams, videos, games, something. I just need to make something. Like, I've had the drive this year to just create something, and I just haven't done it. So that's what I need to do. Dogs are barking at nothing now, by the way. They're not barking at fucking anything. It pisses me off all the time. Probably each other. They're probably fighting with each other. Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh, shit. There's nobody there. They were barking at the back door like there was somebody there. Spoiler, there was not. Although apparently somebody snuck in my backyard to fucking put the damn Dunkin' Donuts order there, so I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I just want to make something, be it like a YouTube video or just do some solo streams, even, which isn't even really making much of anything. It's just kind of sitting down and playing a game while I talk. Or make a game, which I've been practicing a bit this year, but I haven't really had a lot of time. I made a little prototype, had my friends play it, and they were like, oh, here's the things that you can change, and then I haven't touched it again. So, yeah, no, I just want to make something. And it's like, obviously, like, it's such a stupid thing to put down, but it's like, sometimes you just have to write it down, like, make something, like, make a promise to someone that you'll make something, because obviously making a promise to yourself, you aren't fucking doing it. So maybe by saying on the stream that I want to make something, make a video, make a game, stream some more, maybe that promise will actually be kept in my mind, because I want to keep it to not disappoint the 0 people that watch. But that's kind of the idea behind me writing it down here, is I just want to make something, and obviously I've been telling myself I want to make something, but it hasn't progressed to anything because I'm not keeping the promise to myself. I don't really care. So, yeah. I hope I described that well enough. So, but on the stretch of I want to stream more, do some more solo streams and stuff, I have a little thing here that I've been thinking on. So, I have this text document called Games for 2023. Basically what it is there's a Reddit. Most Reddit I don't like. However, there are a couple of Reddit subreddits that I do enjoy because that I like the idea behind them. One of them is Patient Gamers, where it's like people are patient and they wait for the game to be on sale and stuff like that. And also, like, it has to relate to another subreddit, which is like 12 and 12 or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. The point I'm trying to get across is there's an idea on one of these subreddits that came up that was, I think it's 12 and 12 is what the subreddit's called, where it's, basically what I'm saying is I got this idea from Reddit. I don't know exactly where, but I got the idea from Reddit, and it's play 12 games in 12 months. And I don't know, that sounds like, who couldn't do that? But like sometimes you get into this rut and you can't play those 12 games. And it's not like you can't even play 12 games. And it's not like I haven't played any solo 12 games. I have. I mean, if we look up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's just games that released this year that I enjoyed enough to put in the Game of the Years. And that's not, stuff in the other honorable mentions and need to play and stuff that I had played that wasn't released this year, that kind of thing. So it's like, I played 12 games. But the point of it isn't for me to play individually, which I did roll a game for me to play by myself, like off stream. But the point is, roll a game each month for me to play on stream. And try to play 12 games on stream this year, one for each month. At minimum. I'm not saying I only have to play 12, but like just start off with the baseline. So I have a couple of things here, and a couple of them are randomizers, and a couple of them are series that I've played before. And some of them are just games that I have wanted to stream. And so how I'm doing it is, if I roll like a randomizer or a series, then I'll just take it off for that next month, and then it can't roll for that month, and then the month after I'll add it, or whenever I feel like re-adding it. That kind of thing. This first month I did roll a randomizer. It is a randomizer that I've never done before. So for January, what I rolled was Wind Waker randomizer. So I've been playing Wind Waker through by myself, personally, to learn the game, because I've never done a randomizer of the game. I've never actually beaten the game before. But I know the randomizers for this game are a lot of fun. I've downloaded the tool. It looks really good. It looks really nice, just like Ocarina of Time. So it's like, that's what I've rolled for the first month, so I will be playing that this month. And that's the kind of drive that I'm trying to give myself to do solo streams, is roll it, and you have to play this game for this month. It's not like a job, but like, just try to do it. Try to play this game for this month, and try to get through it. And if you get it through it, and you've finished, and you're like, I want to do more streams on something else, then fuck it, do more streams on something else. If you enjoyed streaming, do it. But if you don't, then at least you can do these 12 games in these 12 months and say you actually did some streams. You actually played some games. So, January, expect a Windmaker randomizer soon. Some of the other stuff that's on here, Mass Effect series. I still need to play the rest of those on stream. Nancy Drew series. Oh, I need to play those. Shadows Over Loathing, which you saw me mention earlier. Some other randomizers like Ocarina of Time, Kingdom Hearts 2. Some other games that I've mentioned before, like Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, the old game from my childhood, I have on here. There are a couple of games from my childhood. And some games that I've never mentioned before. Well, I might have mentioned actually, but a game called Wilder Myth, which I think I actually did mention last time I streamed, but like where it's like a game that I kind of want to play on the stream, but I've never really talked about it before. And then I also have a new idea thing at the bottom of this like random name picker. Basically, I put all these, this whole list that I've made, I put it into a thing and then I roll it, and if whatever it lands on is what I do that month. So I have like a new idea, like I have to come up with something new, be it a new game, randomizer series, whatever. I have to come up with something that isn't on the list yet. For those of you who've been longtime watchers, there's a Smash Games list on there as well, which I still have to get back to Earthbound, which is on there. So if it rolls that, I'll be finishing Earthbound and then putting it back on the list later. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. And of course I'm doing a non-stream one as well so that I can have 12 games to play off stream as well for my own personal thing. For the first month I've rolled BioShock 2, which I've never played before, so I'm going to have fun with that. But the main point of this roll is to get me to stream something solo this year, because I didn't stream it all last year. I didn't stream in the second half of 2020. It's been a year and a half since I've streamed solo. And I want to change that. So that's the idea behind it. So expect Windmaker Randomizer sometime soon, and then expect other stuff when it happens. Yeah, and that's at each month I'll be playing at least one game. Maybe more if I feel the drive to stream a little more, So yeah, that's it for me. Nobody's here, but I know some of my friends might watch this afterwards. So if you are watching this, friends, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that most of the stream didn't actually have music behind, even though I thought it did. My bad, because I forgot that little quirk with OBS when I play console games that I don't want to blast my fucking ears out. Oops! I have to turn it back up on the stream. So that's it for me, really. What is this song? I guess it was a good song. That's not. Try to send us off with a good song. Sure. Whatever. Fine. That's it for me, though. Thank you guys for watching. I enjoyed my time on this stream today. I know I didn't do a webcam like I usually do when I do these streams, but oh well. I didn't feel like it. So I'm going to go eat. I'm going to have a good time here at home. I'm glad I got this out of the way earlier, so I can go and I'm either going to play Wind Waker or Marvel Midnight Suns. So I'm out having a good vacation, I guess you could say. I've been trying to contact my work, being like, hey, is there anything I can do? Nothing back. So hopefully I don't get fired. But so yeah, that's it for me. Thank you for coming by, for watching. Send a text back to my sister. Thank you for coming back for watching. Expect Wind Waker Randomizer soon. Expect more co-op streams soon when I can. Me and my friend Corey still have to talk about the rest of the series that we've been talking about. His name eludes me at this moment. Me and Kyle have to play those games that I mentioned earlier. They're on the damn docket to play. Yeah, other than that, I got my room to clean. My parents have... I forgot to mention, my parents have moved up literally the street over. They bought a house the street over. They didn't want to initially, but they really liked the house, so they ended up buying it. Like, they were like, we don't want to live a street next to you. That'd be weird. And then they ended up buying the house on the street next to us because they really liked the house. So, fair enough. But they ended up moving up, and they brought a lot of these shit from when I was a kid. So I have that in my room, so I need to clean that shit up. My room is kind of nasty right now. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So I got to beat Wind Waker sooner rather than later. Probably before my classes start, and then once my classes start, I will be sometime in the interim playing Wind Waker Randomizer on stream and having fun with that. So it'll be me learning the Wind Waker Randomizers because I've never demoed before, and I can already tell that it's going to be a lot of spots that I'm not going to know. There's playing through the game normally. It's like, holy shit, there's a lot of, like, you gotta get this chart and find the spot and do the claw. So. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Find me on YouTube and Twitter under the name Paggigalo, as it says in the Streams Over thing, if you're so inclined. I don't tweet, and I don't upload videos a lot, so... But the reason why those are there is because a while ago I wanted to have some interactability. And some connections to other places beside Twitch. But the thing about Twitch is you don't get the discoverability from Twitch, you know? You don't get retention from Twitch. You get retention from YouTube or Twitter or something like that. So that's another reason why I want to make videos, is because if I were to do something on Twitch, I'd like to make videos on YouTube so that people could see that I'm actually streaming on Twitch, because YouTube's discoverability is a million times better than Twitch's. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon. If not on a co-op stream, on a solo stream where I'm playing Wind Waker Randomizer. Thank you so much for playing my game. Thank you so much for watching my stream. And that's it for me. Goodbye.